All right, Rich Mazzo out in Fairless Hills. Scope of work's going to be a couple different items, so just check the notes for what they accept or don't accept. We'll start in the backyard. So first off, this tree, they are asking if we can just kind of shape it up and give it more of a round shape. So just use your eye, your judgment on trying to prune it up. Definitely want to try to get it off the fence a little bit. It's getting close to touching it on this side and the back. So that's it for that tree. Don't need to touch that bush at all. So I'm going to put weeding as its own thing because they have this landscape rock everywhere in the front and the back and all over the place. And they have this like weed that's growing up through it, kind of. It's like the same type of weed. So wherever you see that, just pull it. Comes out fairly easy, but pull it. And then I would also probably put down some preen, maybe even spray if you want to spray, just to help prevent it from coming back. Then moving over to here, so this area, this weed's a little different. It looks like a nuts edge weed. So let's make it on a note for myself. Let's get a nuts edge specific spray. They make one for it that we want to put over here. So pull what you can, but then spray that nuts edge spray only in this area. So where you can see it growing through that tall light green, that's the nuts edge weed. So you can spray that all along here. Just be careful not to get it on the grass. Moving over to here, no trimming of anything needed in this area. Really no trimming of anything in the back, but again, just pulling that weed that is growing in various spots back here. You'll see it growing a little bit here, growing back here a little bit. They did mention this is kind of not us, but there's a vine growing. So if you can, just hook them up, and if you see that growing onto the tree, just cut that out. And then pull out that weed growing in here. Any of that weed that you'll see growing through there. You see it up here in a couple spots. I'm sorry, I said no pruning. There is light pruning to this, light pruning shape. Continue to pull that weed. No pruning of any of these bushes unless they change their mind and say yes. The only other pruning that you would do would be this one. And when you do it, all you want to do is, I would probably just take the hand snips. Just going to have to use your eyes. So like they said, it always came back good, but this year a lot of the dead stuff, or a lot of it died out. So any like brownish leaves like that, you can just cut out. Any of the other branches that feel very brittle, like they're just dead, you can cut them out, but try to leave a good bulk of it. I told them we'll try to leave a lot. Like this one's good. This is pretty sturdy, so leave that alone for the spring because it might bud come the spring. But certain ones that you'll see are like real brittle, like this one. You can just kind of lightly snip up some of that stuff. In here, this stuff, the darker stuff, you can just snip out. And then again, any of the weeds that you see in the landscape stone, just pull them out. And that's it for the backyard. And then moving to the front, very light pruning to that. We're going to get them a price for aeration and overseeding, but the front yard only. And when we do the front yard, just want to hit this area, and any bare spots really good with a little bit extra seed, especially like all along here and stuff. It's a little bit extra seed. And then he's got some bare spots up there with some extra seed. Right here, extra seed. And then continue with the weeding it out. Same thing. You got them growing here. Kind of got it growing throughout these beds here. Now this area, probably want to bring in, it looks like a 3/8 inch riverjack stone. You mentioned bringing in a little bit more to try to fill in some of the bare spots. I would say, if we can get it from TGG, maybe 3 or 4 of them, like Home Depot buckets worth, something like that, and that's it. Not a lot, just to kind of fill in some spots here. But the big thing we'll be doing here is push back as much stone as you can, and they basically need a new defined edge. If it's maybe the stick edger, probably the walk behind bed edger. I don't know if it'll work on this type of a curve, but the stick edger will probably work fine. To just try to give them, there's not really an edge between the grass and the stone, so you want to try to pull back some of the stone, cut a fresh edge for them, and then like slide the stone back. You could also use some of the excess stone that you get when you bring in if you got to fill in any bare spots, but essentially just looking to get a nice cut edge. There's really no edge here. It's just kind of like randomly spreading into the yard. And then moving up to here, again, continue to weed, and then very light pruning. You can skip that one, but light pruning to this, light pruning to this, really light pruning to that. Don't got to touch that little giant there, green giant, and then light pruning to that, and that. And the weeds don't look terrible over here, but any weeds you'd see, weed them out as well. And that's it.